They don't want you watching this. Not her, not the ones who smile when you're lost, not the system that profits from your confusion. Because if you watch this till the end, if you actually hear what I'm about to tell you, you won't be the same. You'll stop chasing what you think you want. You'll stop folding for love that was never real. You'll start to see through the noise, the flattery, the compliments, the carefully designed emotional traps, and you'll realize this: she never wanted you confused, she wanted you asleep. But that ends today. If you've ever looked back at a moment and asked yourself, why did I let her break me? This message is for you. Comment, I see the truth, if you're ready to finally understand what no one else will dare tell you. You were not born to be weak. You were not born to spend your life trying to earn what should recognize your presence. And yet, this is exactly where millions of men are stuck right now, spinning, chasing, lost in cycles that drain them, mentally, financially, emotionally. You've been lied to about love, about strength, about women. You've been taught that devotion earns you worth, that being emotionally open will win you the right kind of attention, that all you need is love and she'll complete you. No, that's not how it works. You've been trained to ignore the parts of yourself that make you a man, your edge, your command, your standards. And in that confusion, you've kneeled to everything but your purpose. And the worst part, she doesn't even respect the man you became while trying to please her. This video is not for everyone. This video is for the man who has been broken, used, manipulated, and is finally ready to rise. This isn't advice, it's a wake-up call, a warning, a reminder. Today, I'll walk you through 8 brutal truths women don't want you to hear, and show you exactly how to take back everything they hoped you'd never figure out. If any part of you is ready to reclaim your soul and become untouchable, stay with me till the end. Number 1. Desire without clarity is slavery. You want to know why your life feels like it's slipping through your fingers? Why every woman you chase seems to slip further away the more you pursue? Why you feel hollow after the nights you gave her everything and still felt unseen? It's because you never truly understood the chains you were wrapping around your own soul every time you mistook your desire for truth, every time you felt the ache to be chosen, and let that hunger drive your decisions, your path, your identity. You gave her your strength, thinking it would earn her loyalty, but you didn't realize that your desire, unfiltered, undisciplined, wasn't proof of your love, but proof of your dependence. And dependence to her isn't beautiful. It's weakness disguised as effort, and it repels her deeper than any insult could. You were taught that wanting her meant giving her everything, but the truth is, when you hand yourself over without clarity, without boundaries, without purpose, you don't become a man she respects. You become a puzzle she no longer wants to solve. Most men live here, trapped in a loop where every compliment becomes permission to lose themselves, every soft glance a reason to betray their standards, and every second of attention from her a signal to forget the mission they once vowed to build. You know this already. You've felt it. The version of you that ignored the voice screaming inside your chest, warning you she wasn't the one, yet you stayed, hoping love would fix what logic already condemned. You traded your peace for her presence, and now you sit in ruins pretending you don't know how you got there. Every time you chase her without understanding her, every time you pursue the feeling without examining the cost, you become a man that is easily led, easily deceived, easily discarded. Women don't destroy strong men, they expose men who've been living lies. And you, watching this, have likely lived many. You thought desire was direction, but direction without discipline is disaster. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." But what happens when your thoughts are not yours? when your desires were installed into you by a culture that profits off of your emptiness. You end up worshipping what doesn't deserve to be worshipped, elevating beauty to the level of truth, and giving your worth to someone whose loyalty is dictated not by your love, but by your presence of purpose. Desire must be questioned. It must be interrogated. If you don't know what you want beyond her body, beyond the validation, beyond the image of finally being chosen, then you are a man without a mission, and a man without a mission is not a man. He's just a tool waiting to be used. Think back. How many times did you lie to yourself just to keep her? How many times did you swallow your standards to avoid conflict? How many times did you ignore red flags because the high of being wanted felt like home? That wasn't love. That was slavery. The worst kind of slavery, the one you convinced yourself was freedom. She never had to chain you. You chained yourself with your unchecked longing, with the fantasy you built in your head, with the pedestal you carved for her while you erased yourself in the process. She didn't do it to you. You did it to you. And the only way out is to start asking why you want what you want. Why her? Why now? Why does her rejection feel like death? What have you placed on her shoulders that you were supposed to carry yourself? Until you answer that, you will keep finding different faces and repeating the same cycle, giving pieces of yourself away, hoping someone will love you enough to make you whole. But no woman will ever complete a man who hasn't finished himself. And the harsh truth? She doesn't want to. She's not built to. She selects, she follows, she joins, but she does not lead. And the moment you make her your destination, she loses all interest in the journey. You were made for more. More than being a placeholder in her life. More than begging for connection in a world designed to feed on your uncertainty. You were made to govern your desire, to direct your focus, to guard your purpose with such fire that even the most beautiful face can't pull you off course. This isn't about hating her. This is about finally seeing yourself, about realizing that your desire was never the problem, your lack of clarity was. And clarity only comes when you stop running from your own emptiness and start building something worth protecting. If you continue to chase without understanding, you'll wake up one day surrounded by everything you thought you wanted, but haunted by the man you never became. And that, right there, is the definition of regret. Number 2, beauty is bait. Purpose is the prize. She was breathtaking, wasn't she? The way she smiled at you like the world had finally seen you, like everything you'd suffered before her had meaning now. She made you feel like a man, like all those doubts, those nights you stared at the ceiling wondering if you were enough, if you were too much, if you were anything at all. They vanished when she looked at you. But that wasn't love, that was bait. And you, like so many before you, followed the shine thinking it was light, not knowing it would burn everything you hadn't secured within yourself. Because beauty, unchecked, untested, unfiltered through wisdom and discipline, is one of the most dangerous illusions a man can fall into. And fall, you did. You believed that because she looked like peace, she would act like peace. You believed that softness meant safety, that attraction meant compatibility, and that validation meant commitment. But purpose, real purpose, doesn't exist in her eyes. It exists in your actions when no one's watching. It exists in your ability to say no when everything in you is screaming yes. You gave her your time, your focus, your plans, and she gave you a feeling. Just a feeling. Fleeting, addictive, empty once the music stops and reality returns. What did you trade for that feeling? The gym sessions you skipped because she called, the dreams you paused because she wanted your attention, the vision you watered down because she couldn't understand your ambition. And did she stay, or did she leave the moment you made her the center instead of your goals? You thought being present was the prize. You thought availability made you desirable. But what she wanted What she was wired to want was not your presence. It was your gravity, your depth, your direction, your ability to move through life unshaken by her mood, unaffected by her tests, grounded in a mission that would outlive both of you. When you let beauty lead you, you become reactionary. You respond to emotions, not logic, to appearances, not values, to approval, not principle, and that man, though he may be charming, though he may be kind, is forgettable, because the world remembers the man who builds, not the one who bends. She was beautiful, yes, but what did she build with you? Did she challenge you to rise? Did she push you toward your legacy? Or did she simply enjoy the ride until the engine ran dry? So many men are so starved of affection, so desperate to be seen, that they confuse interest with investment. They fall for a gaze and call it fate. They hear, "I miss you," and think it means forever. But the truth is brutal. Most women do not stay with the man who puts her above his purpose. They test that man, they stretch him, and when he folds, they leave. Not always physically, sometimes emotionally, sometimes mentally, slowly, until he wakes up next to someone who no longer sees him as a man, but as a shadow of what he once was. She's still beautiful, but now she's bored. And you're broken. Not because she lied, but because you did. You lied to yourself when you said this time it would be different, when you said you'd stay focused, when you said you wouldn't forget who you are. But you did, and now you sit there wondering why she's distant, why the fire is gone, why everything feels like an effort, and the answer is simple. You gave up your crown for her attention. She didn't ask for it. She just watched you lower yourself, watched you choose her over your mission, watched you trade legacy for lust. You think she respected that? You think she stayed up at night dreaming of the man who chose comfort over conquest? No. She wanted to follow a man who was going somewhere, not a man who paused the journey just to hold her hand. She wanted to admire you. You gave her access instead. Beauty is not the prize, brother. Purpose is. And purpose isn't loud. It doesn't beg. It doesn't seduce. It simply stands. And everything worth having or keeping in your life will orbit around that. When your mission becomes the standard, everything else aligns. She either joins or she leaves. And if she leaves, you do not bend, you continue. Because the man with purpose cannot be stopped by beauty. He is guided by something deeper, something eternal. And the woman who sees that, who respects that, who adds to that, that woman doesn't just make you feel alive. She makes you more powerful. But you only attract her when your purpose becomes the filter. You want to stop losing, stop chasing faces, and start building futures. That's where the real prize is, not in her curves, in your courage, not in her smile, in your standards, not in her presence, in your purpose. And if you're still wondering how to live this truth daily, how to stop falling for the surface and start leading with unshakable clarity, the Stoic Relationship Blueprint is your next step. It's not just a book. It's the manual for every man who's tired of being used, tired of being lost, tired of handing his soul away in exchange for attention that never lasts. This isn't theory. It's tested. It's built from scars, from wisdom, from the principles men like Marcus Aurelius died preserving. And once it's yours, it's yours. No subscriptions, no noise, just pure eternal clarity in your hands forever. When everyone else forgets what it means to be a man, you'll remember, because you'll have the blueprint. Number 3, she seeks strength, not love. You thought love was the answer. You thought if you just gave more, showed up more, stayed loyal no matter what, even when your pride was gone, even when you didn't recognize yourself in the mirror, you thought she'd stay. But she didn't. And it wasn't because you weren't enough. it was because you gave too much of the wrong thing. You gave affection when what she needed was structure. You gave adoration when what she searched for was direction. You gave her your attention, but not your leadership. You followed her moods, but never led with vision. And so she left, not because she didn't feel anything, but because she stopped feeling you. The you that had direction, the you that had boundaries, the you that wasn't moved by every glance, every sigh, every moment she pulled away. Women do not want a man who loses himself in love. They want a man who finds himself through clarity, through restraint, through dominance over his own choices. She doesn't test you to hurt you. She tests you to find you, to see what kind of man you really are when your back is against the wall and the attention fades and her warmth withdraws. That's where she watches. That's where she decides. Does he bend? Does he beg? Does he shrink? Or does he stay rooted in who he was before she ever entered the picture? You see, she doesn't love like you do. You seek intimacy. She seeks alignment. You crave peace. She craves certainty. And when you lose yourself trying to give her everything, what she feels is not affection. It's fear. Fear that the man she followed has no spine, no code, no anchor. And no woman will respect a man who bends to her emotions. She wants to feel safe, not worshipped. She wants to be led, not drowned in compliments. Your vulnerability won't make her love you more. Your consistency will. Your standards will. Your silence in the face of her chaos. Your stillness when she expects a reaction. Your ability to say no when every part of you wants to say please. That is what she craves. And if you don't understand this, you will keep loving her in ways that push her further from you. You will call it loyalty. She will call it weakness. You will say you gave her your best. She will say she never asked for it. And one day, when she's gone, when she's sleeping in another man's bed and you're left scrolling through memories, you'll realize you weren't replaced because you weren't enough. You were replaced because you gave up your strength to prove your love. But love, real love, is not proven through surrender. It is proven through leadership, through unshakable values, through the quiet power of a man who needs nothing from her, but chooses her only when she aligns with the path he's already walking. You need to stop trying to make her stay. You need to stop believing that emotional intimacy is the highest currency. It's not. Clarity is. Direction is. Discipline is. The man she stays with is not the one who loves the deepest. It's the one she cannot move. The one whose life is so dialed in that she either rises to meet him or walks away and realizes she can't replace him. Because strength, not sentiment, is what she remembers. And if you ever want to be that man, if you ever want to stop feeling like you're one emotional swing away from being left again, then you need to stop chasing love and start becoming undeniable. Undeniable in your presence, undeniable in your vision, undeniable in the fact that whether she loves you or leaves you, you remain a man, whole, solid, grounded, and free. Number 4, comfort will kill your mission. You used to wake up hungry. You used to have a fire inside you that burned hotter than your excuses, that pushed you to run when others rested, to build when others watched, to suffer when others softened. But then she came. Not with force, not with demands, but with ease. She said you deserve to rest. She said you've done enough. She pulled you in with softness, with warmth, with that intoxicating feeling of being seen. And for the first time in years, you exhaled. You laid down the sword. You paused the mission. You stayed in bed longer. You skipped the workout. You put the book down. And you called it love. But it wasn't love. It was escape. It was a seduction not of your body but of your will. And you gave in because it felt good. And that's how you started to die. Not all at once. Not with a bullet or a breakdown, but slowly, quietly, Death by comfort, death by softness, death by pleasure. You used to build empires in your mind before the sun rose. Now you scroll through your phone hoping she texts back. You used to speak with certainty, move with purpose, stand with conviction. Now you second-guess yourself every time she pulls away. Do you not see what's happening? Do you not realize the slow erosion of your edge, your clarity, your hunger? You traded your mission for moments, for cuddles and compliments and feelings. You allowed the comfort of her body to take the place of your calling. And every time you told yourself you'd get back to it, tomorrow, next week, next month, you drifted further from the man you once were. She didn't have to break you. She just had to soothe you, just enough to make you forget who you are. And that's what comfort does. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It tells you to stay, to wait, to pause, and you listen. And then one day you wake up, and the life you were meant to build, the legacy you were meant to leave, it's gone. Buried under weekends wasted, energy given to meaningless conversations, dreams abandoned in the name of balance. You call it love, but love without movement is stagnation, and stagnation is the beginning of decline. If your relationship makes you weaker, it's not a relationship, it's a prison. One where the bars are soft, the chains invisible, but the outcome just as tragic. You were made for war, not with people, but with limitation, with mediocrity, with the smallness the world tries to feed you. And the moment you choose peace over purpose, you start to lose. The man who survives this life is not the one who's always comfortable. He's the one who knows that pressure is not pain, it's proof that he's growing. She will tell you to slow down. She will beg you to rest. But what she doesn't say is that her attraction dies with your drive. The very fire that drew her to you, your obsession, your purpose, your passion, that's the same fire she'll try to contain once she feels safe. And you'll be tempted to let her. Because love feels good, because rest feels good. But you weren't made to feel good. You were made to do good, to become great, to build something that outlives you. And that kind of greatness, it costs. It costs sleep. It costs comfort. Sometimes it costs connection, but it pays in power, in clarity, in legacy. And when that is who you are, when your mission is the air you breathe, no woman, no comfort, no temporary affection can stop you. You rise when others fall. You build when others blame. You move when others sleep. And you become the man every woman wants, but only the worthy get to walk beside. So don't kill your mission for comfort. Don't trade your future for warmth. The path you walk isn't meant to be easy. It's meant to be eternal. Number 5. If you don't lead, you will kneel. There is no neutral ground in a relationship. You are either leading or you are following. You are either standing firm on a path you carved, or you are dancing to the rhythm of emotions you don't even understand, hoping she'll stay close if you just sway hard enough. But what you fail to see is this. The man who does not lead his life will eventually kneel before a woman who does not respect him, and she may smile, she may play along, but deep inside, she is already gone. Not physically, yet, but emotionally, mentally, she's miles away, searching for the man she thought you were before you traded your backbone for access to her world. You thought love was about compromise. You thought relationships were about equality. But what they never told you is that someone always leads. And if you hand that power over, even in the smallest ways, where should we go? Whatever you want. What do you think? I don't know. What do you feel? You are slowly eroding your own authority, and she feels it. Women don't articulate it, but they feel it in their skin, in their chest, when you start looking to them for direction. And that feeling, that subtle awareness that the man they once admired now needs permission to move, kills attraction at the root. You must understand, She wants to be with someone who knows where he's going. Even if she complains about the route, even if she argues or resists, there is nothing more attractive than a man who is immovable in his purpose. But most men, they crumble, they over-explain, they beg for peace, they sacrifice clarity just to avoid tension, and they don't see that in their efforts to make her comfortable, they've become completely replaceable. She doesn't need another friend. She doesn't need another helper. She doesn't need another man asking her for validation on every move. She needs a foundation, a force, a structure. She needs a man who says, "This is what I'm building. This is who I am. This is where I'm going. You're welcome to come, but I'm going regardless." That doesn't mean control. It means direction. It means identity. It means confidence so deep that even her doubt cannot shake it. And if you fail to lead, if you keep dancing around her emotions, hoping you'll guess right, you'll become one of the many men who give everything and still lose her. Not because you weren't good enough, but because you refused to be great, because you chose peace over power, because you let her run the show while telling yourself it's just love. But love without leadership is chaos. Love without clarity is noise. And the man who does not know who he is will always kneel before those who do. You want her to respect you? Then move like a man she has to catch up to. Speak with words you don't need to defend. Walk with purpose that no opinion can disrupt, and watch what happens. She may fight it at first. She may push. But eventually, she will either rise to meet you or fade. And if she fades, you do not chase. You do not plead. You continue. Because you are not here to be accepted. You are here to build something that requires leadership. And if you don't lead, someone else will. Her emotions, society, fear, and that will never end in strength. Lead your life, or be led into a life that will bury your potential. Number 6. Detachment is power. The most dangerous man alive is not the one who's angry, not the one who's loud, not even the one with power in his hands. It's the man who can walk away, the man who wants but doesn't need, the man who gives but never depends, the man who can look into the eyes of the most beautiful woman he's ever met and still say no if she crosses his standards. That is power, because detachment is not apathy, it is control. It is the ability to feel everything and still choose logic, to desire deeply and still choose discipline. And most men will never touch this level because they've built their identity on being wanted. They only feel alive when they're chosen. They only feel whole when she stays. So they bend, they comply, they sacrifice, they become agreeable shadows of the man they once aspired to be, and they call it compromise. But compromise without respect is weakness, and detachment is the antidote. When you detach, you do not stop caring. You stop begging. You stop shrinking. You stop accepting half-truths and hot-cold games and emotional instability as love. You rise, you walk, you speak less and do more. You observe, you decide, you exit when your peace costs too much. And that shift, that unshakable frame that says, "I am enough with or without this," that's what draws real respect. That's what separates boys from kings. And yes, she will test it. She will question your silence, your standards, your stillness. Not because she wants to break you, but because she wants to believe you are real. That your strength isn't just a mask to get her attention. That your power isn't just an act to feel important. Detachment proves it. When you detach from outcomes, you become dangerous. Because you are no longer held hostage by emotion. You are no longer negotiating your values for connection. You are simply choosing what aligns and walking from what doesn't. And in that space, you win. Not by forcing anyone to stay, but by making staying a privilege. You don't need her to love you. You love yourself too much to chase someone who doesn't. And when she sees that, when she feels that, She will either run or rise. Either way, you win. Because you're not here to be needed. You're here to be respected. And detachment, not dominance, creates that respect. Number 7. Validation is not victory. You keep checking your phone, don't you? Scrolling for a like, a view, a message, something, anything that tells you you're seen, you're enough, you matter. And when she finally replies, when she says your name again, you breathe like she gave you oxygen, like you were drowning and her attention was air. But that's not life. That's addiction. That's enslavement to something that was never meant to sustain you. You were not made to be validated by the world. You were made to validate yourself through action, through results, through legacy. And yet you live like a beggar, hands outstretched, hoping someone will finally clap for you, finally pick you, finally say, you're the one. But the truth is, as long as you need it, you'll never get it. Because validation cannot be chased. It is a byproduct of becoming undeniable. The man who builds quietly, who sharpens relentlessly, who speaks only when it's worth hearing, he gets validation he doesn't even ask for. Because it follows strength, it follows truth. But most of you are performing for applause you haven't earned. You think looking good is the same as being good. You think she'll stay because you tried so hard. But she doesn't stay for effort. She stays for energy. The kind of energy that says, I don't care if you see me, I see me. That kind of man, the man who validates himself every time he says no to distraction, every time he wakes up early, every time he finishes the rep, completes the plan, disciplines his cravings, that man cannot be ignored. Not because he's loud, but because his life is undeniable. You want to stop being ignored? Then stop looking outward. Start building inward. Every time you chase her approval, you lower your value. Every time you wait for her to notice, you delay your growth. Your power begins the moment you stop needing applause. And when you get there, you'll laugh, because you'll realize validation was never the prize. Victory was. And victory comes to those who build without permission. Number 8. She won't save you. You must build yourself. You keep waiting for her to show up like a movie scene, arms open, love in her eyes, words on her lips that fix everything you ever doubted about yourself. But she won't. She can't. Because it was never her job to save you. It was yours. And every moment you spend hoping, praying, fantasizing that one day she'll come back and love you the right way is a moment you waste in the waiting room of your own potential. You think she'll return because you were good, because you gave everything, because you meant every word. But love doesn't reward effort, it rewards energy. And energy only flows when a man builds himself, piece by brutal piece, in the face of pain, in the absence of applause, in the chaos of life that does not care how he feels. No one is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not her, and especially not the girl who left you when you needed her most. If she could have saved you, she would have. But she didn't, and she won't. So what will you do? Sit in self-pity? Scroll through her new life and wonder what you did wrong? Or will you stand up, not because you're healed, not because it's easy, but because you finally realize your life is not a romance, it's a war. And the battlefield is your own mind, your habits, your values, your discipline, your choices. Every day you have the chance to build yourself or bury yourself. And the man who chooses to build, even when it hurts, even when it's quiet, even when no one's watching, that man becomes unstoppable. Not because he's special, but because he finally understood that no woman, no feeling, no fantasy can give him what he refuses to give himself. You want to be loved? Then become a man who loves his life. You want to be seen? Then become a man who stands so tall that ignoring him feels unnatural. You want to win? Then stop asking for saving and start building a version of yourself so solid, so complete, so damn undeniable that saving isn't even necessary. That's when you'll be ready for her. Not the one who left, not the one who lied, but the one who was always waiting for the man who finally became his own hero. You've heard it now. No filters, no lies, no fairy tales. Just the truth they've hidden from you. The truth that could have saved you from years of regret, betrayal, and confusion. But you're not too late. The Stoic Relationship Blueprint isn't just a book. It's your weapon, your compass, your armor. It's everything you've never been told about how to lead, how to protect your mission, how to spot deception, and how to finally take back control of your relationships and your life. It's linked in the comments, and once you own it, it's yours for life. No more waiting to be chosen. No more losing yourself to be loved. No more lies. If you're ready to become the man no one dares to manipulate, comment the Stoic Blueprint right now, grab the ebook, like this video, and subscribe, because every second you delay is another year of pain for the man you could have saved, starting with yourself. This channel is your home now, and together, we're saving men one truth at a time.